You look bored, they said. Restore a car, they said. It'll be easy, clean fun, they said. So I bought a car to restore. They lied. Restoration is a dirty, thankless job, and this dirty, thankless job is all mine. So it turns out TIG is going to be a real pain in the ass to use on this. Lift TIG takes 6 months, I guess, to learn to where you can become really useful with it. I don't have 6 months, so I am going to do like Fitzy Fabrications does, and I'm just going to weld this up with MIG. I wish there was a way of adjusting the wire feed on this damn thing, because it's putting out just a little bit more wire than I would like to have. Got a hole here that needs to be welded up. We'll blew through that a little bit, but that's all right. We'll fix that. You see this edge is dipping down a little bit. I'm going to have to hammer and dolly that back up. Trying to move around quite a bit so that I don't get a lot of heat into the panel. Hopefully that will cut down on warpageousness, warpiosity. One thing I am learning is that if you don't want a real long stick out when you're done, keep your nozzle down closer to the work. Oops, blew that out. Oh well. How can I fix that? Let's try something. Big old brass punch. I might be wrong, but that seems to have worked. that's stupid. I can't feel the heat from it with the glove on. Yeah, it's a little hotter than I'd want to put my hand on. Feel a little bit of heat there. A lot of heat there. I'm going to give that a few minutes to cool off. It's about 5 or 10 minutes later. That's almost as cold as up there. It's still what I would consider to be room temperature. So I'm going to hit the rest of these spots and then we'll grind it off and see what we've got. You probably can't hear me, and with the grinding you probably won't want to be able to hear me, but here goes. A little warm. I can keep my fingers on for about 1, 2, 3 seconds, so that's how warm it is. Yep, quit rolling, you piece of shit. Tell you what, folks, for an old car, this thing sure rolls easy. Do that a couple more minutes. All right, close enough. Turn the fan off for a minute. All right, let me tell you a couple of lessons I've learned. When you're grinding, do not wear anything but cotton, like jeans or whatever. I made the mistake of wearing a pair of comfortable pants that were made out of polyester. And now that polyester has lots of bits and pieces of grinding dust embedded in it where it's melted in. Number 2, when you're grinding, don't wear these damn gloves that are made out of polyester. You can see right there, there's a hole burned right through. And you can see right there the blister on my finger where the hole burned through. Wear yourself some real leather gloves, okay? Real leather gloves, wear those. Leather apron helps too. Leather arm guards. These are particularly useful grinding and welding too. Keep you from getting the sunburn from the welding, but it keeps you from getting the spark burn from the grinding. So, let's take a look and see how cool that thing is now. That is almost totally cool. So, time to mask up and goggle up and glove up, and oh, ear protectors. Where's some ear protectors? Now then, you probably can't see it from over there, but see if I can get this up to where I can see it. There's a mark there where it's starting to get discolored. There's a mark there where it's starting to get discolored, and a mark over here that's getting discolored. That's a sign that there's getting too much heat in that spot. That is because there's a hole underneath of that. I guarantee you, that's where that big hole was that I filled in. This one over here has got a hole under it. This might just be where the edge of the weld folded over a little bit. But if you start seeing those marks, you got to stop and let it all cool down. Even though it's just a thin piece here, if you get too much heat in this, you're going to end up warping the metal. So you start seeing a color change like that, where it goes straw or blue, stop and let the metal cool down. Another thing I want to talk about is if you look at the discoloration from here to here in the base metal, that discoloration from there to there is what's known as the heat affected zone. Now, that heat's going to travel into the rest of it, but that's just showing the tighter that is, the less likely you are to get distortion. And to be quite honest, I think for being an amateur, I think I got a pretty damn small heat affected zone. I don't think I could do that and get that small of a heat affected zone with, I don't think I could get that small of a heat affected zone if I used a TIG to weld that up with. So I'm pretty pleased with that. That's cool enough that I can actually put my hand on it right now. So that's good. One of the other things to think about. This is a 24 grit sanding disc. And this one here is a 36 grit. Now, a long time ago, I was told by a metallurgist that when you're grinding, you want to use the coarsest grit you can, because that coarse grit is going to cut off the metal, and it'll take the heat with it when it cuts off the metal. So if I was trying to grind this down with they're working on my fence. If I was to grind this down with a 60 grit, I would have to spend so much time grinding and put so much heat into this thing, and there's a little burr right there, I can feel it, and put so much heat in this thing that I would definitely warp the metal more. So take it down as far as you can with as coarse as you can, and then switch over to something a little bit finer when you're getting close to hitting into the base metal. And right there, on this side I'm not, but on this side I can feel that I'm close to that base metal. So I'm going to switch over and use air from now on, which is going to be noisy as hell, but it is what it is. It bees what it bees. I say that as if all the grinding so far wasn't noisy. Right there it's turning purple. That's a stick out, but it's kind of a warning that you're getting too much heat in that area. All right. So in these discs, that's a new one. That's a used one. You can see the edges get all wore down, get tore up. What I do is, this is a 3-inch disc to start out with. I'll take a utility knife, spin this up on a 2-inch spindle, and cut off about 1/4 of an inch, and then I got about 1/4 of an inch. That's about, maybe it's closer to 3/8 of an inch. Then I got one that I can run on a 2.5 or a 2-inch or 2.5-inch backer. When that goes bad, I can go down and cut it down one last time and run it on a 1-inch backer. So you get 3 times the use out of the disc. I will now put on a new disc and start grinding some more. I think that's cooled down enough. Yep, it's cool. This is where that big blow-through hole was. We still have a hole right there. This up here is rusted a bit. Could use a bit of pad welding there, but I don't think it's going to get it. But that spot's got to be done. And I'll try a little bit right there. We'll see. We'll see what it does. Fire in the hole. What I really need for cleaning out these little holes, they make a little round brush for cleaning out the pockets on primers when you're reloading. One of those little tiny round brushes, it's real stiff, would be just the thing for getting into these little holes. But don't have one handy, so we're going with what we got, folks. That looks good to me. That looks good to me. Now let's try this one. No, that wasn't so good. That blew through. As I thought it might. Well, if that actually works, I'm going to be right impressed, because I just welded through a bunch of rust. I suppose it's possible it will, but I ain't holding my breath on that one, folks.
Now there are people on the internet who say if you wait until the weld stops being red, then you can hit it again. But I know I'm putting a lot of heat into that area. What the hell? Welded up those two spots there. Tried a little bit of pad welding where I knew there was some rustiness. We'll see how that grinds out. I'm not holding out a lot of hope. I blew through a hole right there, but the metal was so damn thin it was going to blow through no matter what. I also welded up these pieces here. And again over here to try to stiffen those up a little bit. I should have welded there and there also, but I forgot to. Oh well, we'll get it next time. Now time to grind. Okay. So right here and right here, actually right there and right there, are two little spots that I pad welded. This one had actually blown through when I tried to weld it up. But I'm going to accept that. This down here, that's pretty good. This around in here. This right in here pushes down. The cure for that is to shrink this right in here. Now if I had a oxyacetylene torch, I'd hit a spot right there, and I hit a spot right there, and a spot right there, and then cool it real quick. Get them red hot, cool them real quick, and that would cause the metal to shrink up there, which should bring that edge up. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, that's where we're at, folks. I welded up some other spots and did some grinding down. Didn't get it all ground down over there. Lots more stuff to do coming in the future.
Okay, folks, that's it for this episode of BugeyeBob. I really appreciate you watching and hope that, like me, you've learned a few things in this episode. Please like, subscribe, and comment on this video and share it with others. You can help support this project by becoming a member at patreon.com/BugeyeBob in the link below. Patreon paid members get early access to the videos, and in the future will enjoy question and answer sessions and live streams. As this channel grows, future Patreon member benefits will include bonus or extended episodes, member names and credits, and the ability to suggest topics for future videos. You can follow this BugeyeBob restoration on YouTube and Facebook at the links below. Once again, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and supporting this channel. And remember that sometimes the most important job you can do is a dirty, thankless job.